know you said you did a residency down in Florida.
Yeah.
What was that like, and where, like, how did that thing come about?
That I applied for randomly, and they actually liked my work. And
What part of Florida?
Miami.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So.
And what is a residency for an artist that doesn't know?
So an artist residency is an opportunity for an artist to be supported for several months, maybe even a year, and your living arrangement is taken care of. Like your housing is taken care of, your workspace is taken care of, and you have resources for materials, and you can make a bunch of art uninterrupted. So I got to participate in one at this place called Arts Center, South Florida. Now they're called Oolite Arts, and it was amazing. Like, and I told I was working on the film at the time. I shot part of the film in Miami because of that opportunity, and I told them about the film, and they were on board. I got so much more support in Miami than I ever got here in New York.
Really?
Way more. But I mean, New York is a city about hustling and dead art. It's not about emerging artists. Like, the culture here is not supportive of that.
That's a deep statement.
There's all these artists in Brooklyn, and I can't name 5 Brooklyn-based artists that are making, like, buku bread. And to someone's point in the comments, put it down in the comments. Maybe there are those people that I just don't know their names, but there's a reason I don't know their names. And there's a reason most people don't either, even if they exist. Kudos. But most people don't know who the fuck they are. And a lot of people, a lot of creatives don't see the relevance in that. And the relevance isn't for you as an adult, it's for kids. Kids don't give a fuck how much art makes you feel good. Kids give a fuck about that bag. That's why they love LeBron James. Yeah, being tall is cool. How much do you make? My mama needs some shoes. Like, I don't know what, like, I don't care about how this makes you feel, bro. I really don't. And that's the mentality of most kids. Like, I be like, I got to art school and I was like, where y'all from, son? Like, where I'm from, I had to fight to get my art home. Like, I had to fight and win. And then still get my art home. Or take an L because they felt like kicking my piece and there's 6 of them and it's the bus. What I'm gonna do? This thing I worked on all day just got fucked up and I got a hole at. This is about changing perception. Y'all keep worrying about what the art looks like. Fuck all that. Excuse me. Not fuck all that. That matters. But what should matter as much as what it looks like is the impact. And if a black kid doesn't feel safe walking around their neighborhood with art because that's some white boy shit, there's a problem. And until you address that, something looks funny as fuck to me. Especially if you're a black person who's reached certain heights in the arts. And you use the black mute. See, it's different if you're a black person who's reached certain heights in the arts, and it could be and it's clear that you don't come from the cultural experience that most black people come from because you have a parent of another ethnicity, because you were raised in a different part of the world, whatever. That makes a little bit more sense. Even still, I'm like, yeah, all right. But that makes a little bit more sense. But when you come from this experience, and then on top of that, the muse you constantly lean on comes from this experience. And you looking back at everybody like, yeah, the art is cool, everything's cool, I made it, I'm here. It's like, bet. That's what I like. Y'all keep worrying about what this shit looks like. It's about what it looked like and it's about the impact. These kids don't want to be artists because it looks whack. And it looks like some white boy shit. And if you do some white boy shit in a real hood, you will get really fucked up. Unless you change the narrative. The only reason I still paint to this day is because somehow, some way, I was able to change the narrative. At 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, going between downtown New York and Jamaica, Queens at night. Just me. Public transportation. And I'm shook. Grown man at that time. Young man, grown man. And I'm shook holding this painting. Because I know what it is. What about a 12-year-old? And you talking about there's all these, well, why don't he do this is over here and this is over. First of all, the program you talking about is in Murray Hill. So he got to get on the train by himself at 12 years old and go to Murray Hill from Far Rockaway. Then he got to get out the program at 7 o'clock and then go back to Far Rockaway on the A train. Have you been to Redfern Projects? So you know what I'm talking about. So he's supposed to take this oil painting that's still drying because you didn't consider that he had to take a 3-hour train ride to the motherfucking hood. So the paint that he was using that you gave him is still drying. Keep it from getting fucked up and get it into his building without drawing attention. Like, come on, son. Like, I don't know where y'all raised. Like, I really don't. And that's not even to say like everybody got a shit sandwich in America. You know what I'm saying? But like black boys really come from some real shit most of the time. And black art does not consider that. Art does not consider that.
In your art class, I guess everybody's supposed to, learn about their classmate and paint them and see, you're supposed to pretty much interpret the person.
Right.
From what I gathered.
Right. Interpret.
That's
the right word.
And say like, okay, well, I know this about this person. Let me paint this thing about them.
Right.
Can you just tell us the story?
Yeah, man. So it was freshman year, and the way that SVA structured the classes at the time, you were locked into one class with the same 22 people for a whole year, for like 10 months. So I'm in this class all year with these same people, fall, winter, spring, into summer. And the entire class time, the entire year, people will look at my work, even if it's like a still life, and be like, oh, your work is so urban. It's so urban. And I'm 18, so I don't know how to respond to this. Well, no, I'm 17. I don't know how to respond to this. Like, I don't know, without sounding like the angry black guy. And at 17, I had known enough to know, you don't want to sound like the angry black guy. So I stomached it for like 10 months. So at the end of the year, we have this portfolio review with this final project to interpret all of your classmates. So you as one individual classmate interpret all of your classmates. So success looks like a total of 23 portraits, right? The only one you don't do is yourself. I do mine. Everyone does theirs. They all look great. We get to this one young lady. I use fake names. I think I named her Jane in the movie. And it's funny, she was from Queens too, which was unfortunate. And she does one with some girl who loved like romance novels, so it's like a lovey-dovey portrait. This other guy loved music, guitar. We get to me, and it's just a silhouette of some guy standing in the middle of a street at night with like street lights and like projects behind it. And I'm like, and that was the first time where I realized you as a black person in excuse me, you as a black person in a lot of spaces where there are not a lot of black people are gonna see things that other people don't see, or recognize things other people don't recognize. And a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times it's gonna be super innocent. Like they really don't register it. So we're almost done with this whack ass interpretation of my shit, and right before we move on, I'm like, I can't not say something anymore. And I was like, what? How did you get here? Like, what? Why is this? And she's like, well, you're from the city, and you're from Queens, and this is like the city and stuff. And I was like, that doesn't say anything about who I am. Everyone else had these like things. You could have, and even if you didn't know anything about me, you could have pulled me to the side and say, hey, can I ask you some questions for the project? And we were expected to answer them. It was expected to be cool. And I'd have been fine with that. And of course, no one else asked me. I don't even remember the other ones. I don't even remember how other people portrayed me, because this one was so disrespectful. Like, it just watched it, because I'm sure there were other ones where I was just like, this nigga, this is not, whatever. But this one, I was just like, alright, bro. You got me fucked up. So I say it, and everybody's like, man, it's just a project, it's just this, they're trying to dilute what I'm talking about. The white female teacher is like, nah, he has a point. Like, why is it like this? And they got quiet, she couldn't answer it. And we just moved on, and that was it. And that really, in a lot of ways informed my relationship with the art world. Because I was like, I could do all this work for 10 months. I could be at one of the best art schools in the country. And to you, my work is not worth the kind of critique you give someone who doesn't look like me. And that was that. And luckily I never saw most of those kids again.